So at this point, everybody and their moms have heard that Robert Downey Jr. is back in the MCU, and the reaction has been wildly mixed. On one hand, it's amazing to have RDJ back in the MCU, being the man who started it all. On the other hand, it feels like Marvel is hitting that panic button and casting him is a safe bet to get people in theaters. Regardless of what you're feeling, you have to admit, it is bold to have Tony Stark take on the role as Marvel's biggest baddie, Doctor Doom. However, it's not the first time we've seen these two super geniuses pull a Freaky Friday. In fact, Iron Man and Doctor Doom have a long history in comics and are much more similar than you think. I'm Socks, and join me as we look through some of the history of Iron Man and Doctor Doom and what the MCU might adapt. Without further ado, let's dive on in. Stark and Doom's first tech conference was in a little two-part comic called Doom Quest in 1981, a story where Iron Man and Dr. D are whisked away to a time before gears and gadgets, where kings and magic ruled in the fantastic world of Camelot. The story explores themes of power, ambitions, and the consequences of meddling with time. Starting as fierce enemies, but the situation demanded them to temporarily set aside their differences to find a way back home. The mutual respect between Stark and Doom begins to simmer here, as they recognize in each other a shared brilliance and a flair for the dramatic. Both Tony Stark and Victor Von Doom are portrayed as two of the smartest individuals in the Marvel Universe. Their shared brilliance fosters a deep intellectual rivalry, but also a mutual respect. They recognize each other's capabilities, often acknowledging that the other one is one of the few who can truly understand or match their intelligence and skill. This respect doesn't preclude conflict. In fact, it often intensifies it, as they frequently clash over their differing methods and philosophies. Since RDJ has been announced to be Doom, the biggest question has been, how in the world are we going to explain why Victor Von Doom looks exactly like Tony Stark? An easy answer is, oh, he's just a variant of Tony, but that's boring. Maybe the writers are going to adapt the Demon in the Armor storyline, a literal Freaky Friday what-if story from 2010. In an alternate reality where Tony Stark and Victor Von Doom's lives are drastically altered due to a college experiment gone wrong, the minds of Stark and Doom are swapped, leading Stark to become a disgraced Latvian commoner and Doom inheriting Stark's life and resources. The narrative questions the core of their identities and what defines them as Iron Man and Doctor Doom beyond just their armor. The ethical differences between Stark and Doom are, well, Stark, Tony, despite his flaws, generally strives to use his intellect and resources for the greater good, embodying the archetypal hero. He grapples with the responsibilities and consequences of his inventions, often seeking redemption for past mistakes. Dr. Doom, on the other hand, is driven by the desire for power and control, often rationalizing his actions as being for the greater good of Latveria or the world, even when they are tyrannical and self-serving. This contrast highlights themes of power and responsibility. Stark wrestles with the moral implications of his creations, while Doom sees himself as the rightful ruler or a godlike figure, often believing that his ends justifies any means. Honestly, this would be a fun twist to have in the MCU, as the majority of the characters would believe that Tony is back from the dead or is a variant of Tony from another dimension, only to be revealed that it was Victor Von Doom the whole time, who reconstructed his face to look like Tony so he could infiltrate the Avengers easier. But what if it's not even a twist and Tony just might be an evil dude this time around? It wouldn't be the first time his ambitions went unchecked and the world paid the price for it. Like in the comic Exiles, where Tony Stark believes his mind is the most superior in the world, which entitles him to be the emperor of the entire planet as the Iron Monarch. In this story, we see a version of Tony Stark that is a cunning genius who hides his world domination ambitions behind philanthropy. Stark funds Magneto's mutant army planning to rule humanity post-war, only to betray and murder Magneto on live TV, skyrocketing his fame. Stark then engineers a global famine and heroically cures it and becomes the president of the United States. And this isn't a role reversal type story where Doom comes in and saves the day. Nah. Victor Von Doom thinks Tony's making some baller ass moves and figures it'd be better to work with Stark than to be against him. The two team up Doom attacks Washington, D.C. to help Stark end democracy. But Victor can't help his ego and, like clockwork, double crosses Stark, leading to a dramatic showdown where Stark kills Doom but gets permanently scarred. But hey, he gets a sick cape out of it. This version of Iron Man shares the same craving of power and authority as your typical Doctor Doom, showcasing that a little shrapnel to the heart can really change your perspective about the world. So not a great reputation for a beloved actor like RDJ. However, it'll be a fucking madhouse if they went with this direction. You know the phrase, walk a day in someone else's shoes? Well, Victor Von Doom does that in the 2016 comic series Infamous Iron Man. After the events of Civil War II that puts Tony Stark in a coma, Doom attempts to redeem himself, inspired by Stark's legacy. This series dives deep into Doom's psyche, exploring his respect and envy for Stark. It's a storyline filled with introspection as Doom grapples with his identity and the shadow cast by Tony Stark, as every hero does not trust him, and rightfully so. Doctor Doom fans are still waiting for a comic-accurate Doom in movies, as the 2005 version of Doom played by Julian McMahon was just a creep, and the 2015 version we just don't talk about. So having Doom be a villain turned hero out of the gate doesn't make any sense and would go poorly with fans. I hope Disney doesn't cop out and go with the soft boy Doctor Doom, at least not yet. Let the guy be evil for a bit. Is that too much to ask? Well, there you have it, some of the historical moments and storylines featuring the relationship between Iron Man and Doctor Doom. Is there a storyline you're excited to see get adapted, or are you skeptical of this move? Comment below and let me know. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Until next time, fair winds and safe travels.